Well, it's welcome back to Cooking the Alphabet. Only this time, we're going to change things up a little bit. I know we've done Cooking the Alphabet, and I've been through the alphabet twice, I think. So I thought maybe we'd start a series on healthy cooking and using whole foods. And if you're a Weight Watcher member, you know that means power foods and foods that fill you up for less calories. So I thought there would a better New Year's resolution than to try something new. So I thought maybe I'd introduce you to a few new things and some real quick and easy recipes that are low in points, but high in power and lots of good things for you. So I just encourage you now to make a resolution to step outside the box a little bit, try something new. And I know I did. I know sometimes it's hard to make some changes, but we have to make some small changes. And I thought maybe one of those small changes would be to try a new grain. So I went to the store and I bought a few new things. This is called quinoa in a rice blend. That's one of the new things. Bulgur and red quinoa, and some Italian farro. Let's take a look at that one. Now this is a lot like barley, so if you like barley, you're probably going to like this. And so what I thought I would do is cook up a whole batch, and then we could come up with some things that we might like to make with it. So when I cooked up the farro and I cooked up the quinoa, this is how it looks. This has a little bit of bulgur in it too. It's almost like a rice substitute or a pasta substitute, but it has a lot more beneficial things in it. So I cooked this, and according to directions, it's usually one part the grain and two parts of the water. I use some chicken broth to give it a little bit of flavor. So I cooked this up, and then I also found a recipe on the back of this, the wild rice. And it said to cook some in a skillet, and I'll show you what it looks like. A little bit of onions, a little bit of olive oil, and some spinach at the end, and look how delicious that looks. And I'll tell you, it's a very good nutty flavor. Then while that's cooking, what the directions said to do was to take a can of beans. Now, another thing I want to encourage you to do is you don't have to go exactly by some of these recipes. I encourage you to use what you have on hand. Now, this said to use red beans, didn't have any. So I used the white kidney beans, the cannellini beans. I use those. You could use black beans, you could use chickpeas. So I encourage you to try, a different kind of bean. And you take the beans and you mix it in. You can see right there, I have some onions and celery and some tomatoes and a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and of course feta cheese. Now the directions said to mix this up while this was cooking. So I cooked this up, and again, remember this was just some olive oil and some onions, and then you throw in the chicken broth, and I used in this recipe, it happened to be the quinoa in the rice blend. Now, when this is all finished, you take and you mix this grain right into the beans, and we mix it around, and it makes a delicious salad, which is very filling. Delicious. We'll have to take a bite. I always like to take a bite of what it is to just show you what it's like. Let's see. Delicious. Really good. You can add some other herbs to it if you like. Oh, I added quite a bit of parsley. I put some parsley in it too. Salt and pepper. Another ingredient that you might not have heard of is called nutritional yeast. And why I like this, you can see that. It's kind of a yellow. I got this in the bulk section of the grocery store. It has a cheesy flavor and a nutty flavor that you can just sprinkle on top of things. And if you notice, there really wasn't any cheese in here except for the feta. So this adds a nice little flavor to it too. So again, you know what else I did? I had a lemon tree this year that actually grew lemons. So I used some of my lemon. I threw a little bit of that on it too. Again, experiment. Don't be afraid to try some things. The other thing that I tried today was to make it's a meat recipe, but I use turkey. And it really is a sloppy Joe recipe if you look at it. But the difference being, there's a can of beans in here. So I took the turkey and I browned it. And I have an olive oil store that I love, the Enchanted Olive. If you have an olive oil store near where you are, absolutely. You need to try some of these different kinds. This happens to be the lemon olive oil, which was delicious. I guess we have a visitor. Shoo. Scoot. Scoot. So I took the olive oil and I again browned in some celery and some onions, and then ground very lean ground turkey. And again, that's a power food. It's because it fills you up for less points and less calories. So I put some tomatoes in there. Actually, I use some salsa, which again is a power food. Look at that. Any kind of salsa you have on hand. Add the salsa in, a can of beans, and again, you could either put this on a bun, or my favorite thing anymore is to put it on an English muffin. Toast up one of these whole grain English muffins. Delicious. Very, very good too. So those are a couple things that I've made. And again, the quinoa, give it a try. The rice blend, give it a try. And come up with some of your own variations. Beans are great to have on hand. All these grains are excellent. Ground meat, ground turkey, how about, you find it, a can of chicken. Never used to use this. Used to think it was cat food. And I happened to try it once and found out it's delicious. It's low in points, low in calories. Adds excellent flavor to soups and stews. Another thing you can try. So as the new year comes, I just wish you happy health, good health. If you're trying to lose weight, I hope that you'll try some of these power foods and some of these whole foods. And by whole foods, we mean less processed. Go to the market and buy your sweet potatoes and your broccolis and your green beans and cook them up and have them prepared ahead of time. I have all this cooked up. Now I have a week's worth of food. I have sloppy joes and I have salads. And again, I can add other things to this. I can pop it into soups and put it into pita breads and roll-ups and all sorts of things. So hopefully this next series of foods and recipes will help you get on the right track and to help you keep those resolutions of eating healthy and whole. And again, just good luck and happy, healthy eating. See you next time.